Well, hello and welcome to Third and Long, and here we are. We're well and truly into the season. We are Australia's newest podcast, providing you with 360-degree access all areas for all things NFL with an Aussie twist. Third and Long is brought to you by Little Birdie TV and topsport.com.au. I will welcome in Australia's number one San Francisco 49 fan, Paige Cardona. How are you going?
Corey, it is good to be here, mate. Look, I'll claim that. I like that title, but I wish we were performing a little bit better.
Yes, that's true. And a fair weather Patriots fan will welcome Goodwill. How are you going, Mark?
Yeah, back on board, Corey. Finally got a win, so, up and about. It's all going well.
And later we'll be joined by Toprope for all things betting, NFL and to the house. And it's probably about time that my co-host actually pulled their finger out and started winning some money. But we'll get to that later. But first, it's been a big week in football and doing the rounds after week 5 of the NFL season. Paige, plenty to go over.
Look, boys, I say this every week, but it has been a big week in football. And I thought, well, we're now 5 weeks in. It's probably about time that we start addressing some, 5 big burning questions. So I'm going to get your thoughts on this from both of you. But I want to know, have we seen the game of the year? On Monday, we were treated to the 47-42 scoreline between the Chargers and the Browns. More than 1,000 yards of offense and almost 90 total points were scored. And we had 7 lead changes. I know you're all over these guys, Corey, but the Chargers, they've just been so impressive, haven't they?
Yeah, led by their quarterback, Justin Herbert. He just keeps making every post a winner. It was probably the start of the season. It was probably the other Los Angeles team in Matt Stafford getting all the headlines going into the season. And Justin Herbert probably flew under the radar. I think we touched on that last week about all the up-and-coming quarterbacks, but gee, hasn't he? He's been amazing this year. To do it on the big stage, that big stadium where the Super Bowl is held this year, just an amazing effort, and it probably is the game of the year thus far.
And Marco, the Browns, I think they've been really, fantastic in defence. They've really, pressured opposition QBs over the opening 4 weeks. They just couldn't get towards Justin Herbert in this game, could they?
Yeah, I think the Browns have had a few close losses, and they're a team that show a lot. They're just not probably getting the job done. I'm just not convinced Mayfield is the man for the job. But, it was a crazy thing to be a part of. I think they said it was NFL history that the first team to ever score over 40 points and not have a turnover and lose the match. It's never been done before in the NFL. So they can, again, consider themselves very unlucky.
They've been stiff, the Browns, on a couple of occasions this year. But my next burning question, is Dak Prescott the comeback player of the year? Corey, he had another game of 3+ TDs for the 4th time this season. And not only is he working well in the pocket and rolling out with ease, but his job's made so much easier given the blend of options at running back and receiver. Talk us through Dak Prescott's season to start with.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much competition for comeback player of the year. I know when we led into the season, there was a little documentary where we went behind the scenes and saw how horrific the injury that Dak Prescott had and the amount of rehab that he had to do. And really, Dak Prescott's adventure into the current season, it really started on that first drive of the season that I so vividly remember. They were backed up on the 1 yard line, and from that moment onwards, he's really been fantastic for the Cowboys. But more importantly, probably they're really getting that balance right between throwing the ball with Dak and then running the ball with the great weapons that they've got at the moment. But yeah, for mine, I can't see anyone else beating him for comeback player of the year.
And Marco, the Cowboys are 4-1 for the first time since 2016, which also happens to be Prescott's rookie year, and that same year included the NFC East crown. Do you reckon the Cowboys are heading in the same direction?
You're up and about on your second team here, Paige, aren't you? Getting a lot of coverage.
I do like them. They're doing great things.
Yeah, they are. They're very, I think what's impressed me most is not only Prescott coming back from his injury, but I think what's helping me is their defense has improved out of sight as well, which, takes the pressure off the offense, and they don't have to score every time that they go down, which they probably had to do in previous years. Offense is stacked, but I just think overall they're a well-balanced side. And I think, as long as they stay healthy, which they had a lot of injuries last year, I think you'll see the improvement. They're in a weak division, and right now they've definitely got their hat in the ring to be there at the business end.
Well, when the Cowboys have recorded a winning streak of 4 or more in a season, they've gone into the postseason. Of course, a couple of exceptions there in 1990 and 2011, since Jerry Jones took over the ownership. But my next burning question for you two blokes: are the Kansas City Chiefs one-hit wonders? Sunday Night Football, it was telling. The Bills had waited 9 months, I reckon, for this rematch. They scored on 4 of their first 5 possessions. They intercepted Pat Mahomes twice, won the turnover battle 4-0. I just think they played with complete confidence and went in there as if they knew they were just going to win the Bills. But Marco, I want to get your thoughts on the Bills, because we're going to start with them first in this matchup.
Right.
Against the Chiefs. Did the Bills outplay the Chiefs, or did the Chiefs simply just not rock up?
Not outplayed, Paige. Let's build this up for what it was. They mauled the Chiefs. As you said, they came in. They'd waited a long time for this matchup, and they tried to play it down as well. Everyone watched the coverage, and they said that it's just another match, and they went in. They executed exactly what they'd planned in probably the most of the preseason lead up. This was their major game so far for the year, and they mauled the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, unfortunately, their defense is just it's shot, and a very good Bills offense showed why. And they started well. I think they scored the first 5 times in the game, and the Chiefs weren't coming back from that. So, Bills are very good. They're tracking beautifully for anyone who jumped aboard early for the Super Bowl tip. But I think the Chiefs are in a bit of trouble. And I just think they're the opposite of Dallas at the moment. The defense has kind of come up to take the pressure off. The reverse has happened with the Chiefs. They can't stop anyone, and it's putting too much pressure on the Chiefs. It forces them almost to score touchdowns every drive, and they're probably taking them out of their comfort zone a bit. So they've got some issues with the Chiefs.
Corey, the other issue I'm seeing as well with the Chiefs, we haven't seen Pat Mahomes be picked off quite the way he has recently, have we?
No, we haven't, and it's just interesting watching Kansas City at the moment. You compare the two teams. You got the Bills that are really building their momentum and really going places. Really, after that first game of the season where we were all critical, I think they came into that round one for them as a real awakening game. They got hit on the chin, and they have been nothing short of fantastic since then. And look, Kansas City on the flip side, it's just an interesting dynamic in sport that when you lose your momentum, they've got all the pieces there. They'll all be sitting around the locker room wondering how they're going to get their mojo back. They really want to try and find how they're going to get their mojo back really quickly, or else the season's going to disappear.
Well, it's a stacked AFC, isn't it? They've already lost to the Chargers and the Bills at home and the Ravens on the road. 3 big contenders there. And, let's be honest, they were lucky to get away by the skin of their teeth against the Browns in week 1. But the next question I've got, can the Seahawks win another game this year with Russell Wilson sidelined? The Iron Man QB, he's injured his middle finger on his throwing hand. That's going to require surgery, and the early prognosis is that he's out for 2 months. It's the first time since he was drafted in 2012 that Russ will miss a game. So it's pretty impressive from a guy that was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2012 National Draft to come in as a starting rookie, not miss a game since, and now he's out for 2 months. Of course, Geno Smith comes in as a relief. But Corey, what are the Seahawks going to be able to do in his absence? Is Geno Smith going to be able to, stump up the same way that, Russell Wilson can?
Look, we don't know. In the plays that we saw, he actually didn't look too bad. But look, at the end of the day, no one's really going to be able to replace Russell Wilson in the way he's been playing in that team. As usual, got off to a great start for the year. But unfortunately, yeah, when you get a finger injury like he has, it's just going to make it impossible to be able to throw the ball with his feel and his touch. And yeah, it will be an interesting next few games because you've got the Steelers, the Saints, the Jags, and the Packers in the next 4. So that's really going to tell a tale of where their season goes.
Marco, during the pre-season or off-season, whichever one you'd like to refer to about, there was a big breaking story regarding that Russ may be on the move from Seattle, and the Seahawks, well, they were happy to maybe do it. He's got a massive back-ended contract. He did tell Adam Schefter that there were 4 teams that he would consider going to that were on his radar. Now, we never found out who those 4 teams are, but I want to ask you this. If the Seahawks really take a dive over the next 2 months and their season's shot, do you think we may have seen the last of Russ at the Seahawks?
Yeah, maybe, Paige. I don't know. You could probably look at it 2 ways. It probably gives the backup, Geno Smith, a chance to prove his worth to the Seahawks. He's got an extended period of time now that he can, I guess, show the Seahawks what he's made of. I don't think the draw's that tough either, especially in the next 3 games. Pittsburgh are very up and down. The Jags, they're going to start favourite against the Jags. So I think they can pinch a few wins. Maybe Wilson may not be out for the whole 2 months as well, depending on how quickly he recovers. But, to your question, I think, if he's going to go, I think he was going to go regardless. Anyway, the injuries maybe just put it more in favour of yes, they will move him on, and maybe it is time for Geno Smith to at least have a crack, or they shop around for another quarterback.
Next big question on my list for you two. Will the Jaguars go 0-17 this year? Now, Urban Meyer's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week culminated in a typical Jaguars dud game. They lost 37-19 to the Titans in a game that was so sleepy and unremarkable. You'd be forgiven that thinking this matchup was pretty much in London. They never led. They never looked like a real threat to win the game. They did have a good game against the Bengals the first half the week before. I thought they put up a pretty good fight. But Corey, what is happening at the Jaguars? Can they win a game this year?
Yeah, I think the bigger question for them is where they're going as an organisation. I think Urban Meyer came in with big raps from college, and a couple of his decisions are questionable at best, and it probably culminated in the look from those who haven't been involved in sport. For your coach not to fly home with you, regardless of the circumstances, is nearly unforgivable. And I think the players in the locker room would be talking about it, thinking, hang on, if the coach can get away with this, we'll take shortcuts where we want to. It's not only, it doesn't hold them in good stead what happens this year, but they've really got to ask where they're going as a franchise.
Marco, the next 6 games that they've got are against the Dolphins, Seahawks, Bills, Colts, 49ers and Falcons. Do you see any potential winners in that 6?
Well, losing 20 straight would suggest probably on the negative side, but they've got some winnable games. They're not out of games, and they're not going to be massive outsiders in a few of those games as well. We just talked about Seattle losing their quarterback. Would they win one with Geno Smith? Will they play each other in a couple of weeks' time? So, one of them will come out with a W there. I think, I don't know, losing 20 straight, you would say probably not, but I think they've got some winnable games, and I'd be surprised if the Jags by the end of the year, I think Lawrence will keep finding improvement as he goes, and I'm going to back him in to win a game before the season's out.
Well, they've got Miami in London this week, and that is also televised here in Australia on ESPN at 12:30 a.m. Monday morning, so we could have another, 12 hours of football again, if there's a weather issue presenting. But finally, I want to ask you both one more question. 5 weeks, plenty of headlines, lots of talk around who's capable of winning the Super Bowl this year and whose season it just may not be. But Marco, who's been the surprise packet for you so far from the first 5 weeks? Who's really caught your attention?
Yeah, for mine, we had to pick one, Paige. So I'm going to go with Dallas Cowboys. Pre-season, though, if you talk about what the team was expected to win, season wins, they were only expected to win 8.5 games. They're already at 4. they're a couple of points away or a couple of plays away from being 5-0. So I just think for the improvement of Dallas, of obviously Prescott as the quarterback had the question mark coming in with his injury recovery, but I just think Dallas going forward, they're in a very weak division. I think they'll be there at the business end if they keep enough people on the park. Your player that you said defensively pre-season, Micah Parsons, is doing a great job. The defense is lifted, and I just think they're full of confidence at the moment. They're not just relying on one running back. They've got a two-headed monster developing back there as well. So they've got a very balanced attack. There's no pressure on them. The defense is standing up and can get some stops. And I just think right now, if I had to pick one, I think Dallas are probably tracking to be the biggest improver and maybe the biggest surprise so far after 5 weeks.
Corey, who's your surprise packet?
Yeah, I think for mine, look, I think contrary to what Mark's saying, I think the Cowboys always seem like they have it in them a little bit, that they just have to get the pieces right. But I think the Chargers, for mine, are easily the biggest surprise packet, and it was probably the fast track development of Justin Herbert, and how great he's been in the opening 5 games. 13 touchdowns, only had 3 interceptions. The future's super exciting in Los Angeles for, like I said, both the teams, but in particular, the Chargers probably needed this after they moved from San Diego. In order to drag all those fans from San Diego, they need a compelling reason. And for all those Chargers fans, bloody hell, you got yourself a compelling reason to go ahead, make the trek up the 405 to Los Angeles and see Justin Herbert.
Well, it could be very telling at the end of the year. We know the Super Bowl is going to be held at SoFi Stadium there at LA, the home field of the Chargers and the Rams. So if those two teams go deep, wow, that is going to be an absolute delight. But thanks for front page news today, this week, boys. We're now going to go straight to the house.
Well, welcome back. It's time now to the house, brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with the bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au. Over to you, Marco.
Thanks, Corey. Okay, to the house now is where we start talking all things betting in the NFL. And what better man to join us on Third and Long is Nick Toprope Tedeschi. He's coming off an average week, we'll call it, for Toprope. Got off to a flying start, and it's a good time to go 5-0 to start the first week. And you just cooled off the last 2 weeks, but we're going to back you in for a big week 6, Toprope. So this is the time to stick fat for the punters, and we'll talk about all the games and the winners coming up shortly. We'll just do a quick bookie wrap coming up here for week 5, just to keep the punters in the loop. We had a pretty high total range for the week. 12 out of the 16 favourites win, which was the highest so far this year. The line covered 9 times. The total is also the highest scoring week, 10 out of the 16, and the home teams had a good week. They've been under pressure as well, 11 out of 16. You can see the season wrap so far, 61% for the favourites. Still under par for both the favourite line and the over punters, and the home teams just got their nose in at 53%. If we just have a quick look at the To The House results for Toprope here for week 5, he had 5 bets for the week, got off to an ordinary start as the punters built, and we had chips all in Toprope on Buffalo +3, and they absolutely destroyed KC.
Yeah, Bills were fantastic, weren't they? I think probably unquestionably now the favourites to claim the AFC. It was a really well-coached game from Buffalo. Took a very few question marks hanging over KC. It was a bit of a statement game for them, and they were very, very poor on home turf. So big win from Buffalo. They look very impressive. Yeah,
KC, we'll talk about it a bit later. They've got a big game coming up against Washington. They wouldn't want to drop that Toprope, otherwise they're in all sorts for the season going forward, I would have thought.
Yeah, look, they're at a point now where, it's not so much about kind of, the first 4 weeks. You thought, Kansas City probably get to a available price here. The Chargers are running away with the division at the moment. Chargers are 4-1. Kansas City really need to start winning some games here. Washington, injury depleted again, very bad defense. This is a must-win game for Kansas City.
All right, punters, let's get straight into it. Top rope. We've got 7 TV games to cover. We're just going to leave out one with injury concerns, which we'll talk about later with the Giants. We're going to start off on our Friday at 11:20 a.m. This game is on ESPN. We've got the defending champs here, Top Rope, who travel to the Eagles. Currently, we've got the Bucks, quite a strong favourite here at -7 flat. Mid-range total here of 52 flat. Both teams bring winning form into this contest. Good draw continues for Tampa Bay. Is Tampa Bay's second-ranked offense going to be too much for Philly here?
They have made a habit of putting bad teams to the sword of late, but I reckon there might be a value at Philly here, getting 7+. Home underdogs of 7+, 40 and 21 against the spread over the last 25 years. Tampa Bay, they've covered just one of their last 5 as a road favourite, one of their last 6 of a win of 14+. I'll lean towards Philly here. I think Jalen Hurts can take advantage of the depleted Tampa Bay secondary here. So I can see this being a bit of a shootout, and I don't mind Philly with the 7+ on home turf here. Okay,
Corey, what's your thoughts? Tampa Bay at Philly this week.
Yeah, one of my favourite days of the week, Marco, being Friday, where we get to see NFL football. Well, Tom Brady, he can always find a way and an excuse and a reason to get himself up for a game. Well, last year he had an inexplicable loss on Thursday Night Football, and I reckon he'll remember that. I reckon he will come out and he's rolling after last week, 5 touchdowns. I reckon they'll get the job done. I'm even going to give you a score, Marco, 31-21.
Okay, as we just said, we're going to lead the second match with the Giants. They've got injury concerns at quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. So we're just going to hold off on that match for our preview. We're going to move on to the third TV game of the week, and that is Kansas City travel to Washington here. Top rope. We've got. We just spoke about Kansas City under pressure, especially if they drop this one and don't come out of the W of Washington. We've got KC favourite here at -6.5 at the line, and a highish total, I guess, at 55.5. But with both very ordinary defences, currently ranked 29 and 32nd on the list. How do you see this one playing out, given KC coming off a mauling at Buffalo against Buffalo?
Yeah, it's a good spot here for KC. They need to win and all that kind of jazz, but I just can't back Kansas City. The market just overrates them too much. They're just in love with them. They've covered just 3 of their last 16 overall. One of their last 6 is a favourite. One of their last 6 against a losing team. There's just not enough there. I can't back Kansas City as a matter of principle here. Washington, they're 9-3 against the spread off a double-digit home loss. I lean towards Washington here. Not a lot of confidence.
Okay, Paige, we've got KC. Can they bounce back this week in Washington? Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, you'd think so. This is supposed to be a correction game, I think, for the Chiefs. But you really can't take anything for granted on the road at Washington. Look, good news for the Chiefs is that Washington has already allowed 35 points per game. And they've only generated 2 turnovers the last couple of weeks. So it feels like a safe bet to go with the Chiefs this week. I think KC, they're going to be patient here, and Pat Mahomes is going to get them back over the line. And I think there'll be a considerable amount of points put up in this match.
All right, moving on to the next match. We've got an absolute belter here for mine. We've got the Chargers travel to Baltimore, and we've got Baltimore here at favourite, the home team at -3 flat. Total's 52.5. This will be shown live on 7 Mate. Great matchup here, Top Rope. We've got winning teams. Chargers have won 3 in a row. Baltimore have won 4 in a row. Both quarterbacks are up and about, evenly matched. Is there any value in the away team here at the plus?
Yeah, I'll be all over the Chargers this week. I know there's plenty out there who just love the games with the big angle. Well, we've got a big angle on this one. Underdogs from week 4 to 16 who have won 80% of their games that year, so 4-1 this week, who are underdogs. They cover it 71% since the year 2000. So nice spot here for the Chargers. They've covered 8 of their last 9 overall, 4 straight on the road. They're an excellent 39 and 15 against the number as a road underdog. Baltimore covered just 1 of their last 5 off a win. Look, they were pretty shaky against Indy. It was a great good comeback, but they were pretty ordinary for 3 quarters last week. I'm pretty happy taking the Chargers in this one. As mentioned earlier in previous episodes, very keen on Baltimore to kind of win the AFC this year. They need to improve. Chargers, they're doing a really nice job at the moment. So I'll be on the Chargers here with the 3 points.
Okay, Corey, what are our thoughts here? The Chargers travel to Baltimore, both teams 4-1. Your thoughts, please.
My thoughts, Marco, it's on at 4 a.m. if you're in the Melbourne and Sydney, but for me in Queensland, a 3 a.m. start. Probably well and truly worth getting up early for this one because it's between two star quarterbacks in Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson. Can't wait to see this. Early kickoff for the West Coast team, something to be conscious of. But I think LA can go and make it 3-zip on the road. And just to quote Paige, she said that the Chargers would win 30-27.
If that comes off, you can all thank me. All right? Just put something aside for that.
Paige is tipping correct scores now. I like it. The next game we're going to talk about is, this team's got problems, Toprope. They've had a tough week in the press already. The Las Vegas Raiders travel to Mile High here for the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos are favourite, -4 flat. Very low total here of 44 flat. This game will be shown live on 7 Mate. Toprope, how are we going to work out this game with obviously the news of the Raiders losing their coach during the week? This is a big game, divisional matchup, both with struggling quarterbacks. How have you worked this game out?
Yeah, well, long term, losing Gruden's going to be a positive. He's, to be fair, a coach of another era. He's not up to the modern game. Now, you look at him compared to someone like a Brandon Staley. And it's like they're coaching 2 different games of football, so they'll benefit from this. But short term, I think there could be some trouble. Teams that replace coaches mid-season, they cover it just 41%. I tend to lean divisional road underdogs. Bit more questionable in this one. Teddy Bridgewater's also 38-14-1 against the spread as a starter. Probably leaning towards the Denver minus here, but the best bet in this game, the under. The Raiders 7-2 under as a road dog. 28 under when they're playing the division. Denver, a huge under team. 18-6 under when they're playing a winning team. 35-16 under when they're favoured. 8 of their last 9 matchups in this AFC West clash have gone under the total. So I'll be backing under 44.5.
Okay, we've got the Raiders travelling to Denver. Paige, you got any thoughts here about the teams, not the coach?
Look, sometimes you just got to call it as you see it. And this is a rotten game for broadcast here in Australia. It's as simple as that. Both teams, obviously, in 2-game slides after 3-0 starts. Not quite surprising to me. Important game to keep pace with the AFC race. And the Raiders, they swept this series last season. And look, Derek Carr, he's been really great to start the year. I think he's going to get the passing attack back on road this week. They need, some good news, I think, in Vegas at the moment, considering all that's happening there. But I do wonder what the departure of John Gruden does and how it affects the team there. But I think the Raiders I'm not convinced, though.
Paige, you got to sort out the TV scheduling for this week. How have they not changed it from the Raiders Denver to show the Arizona Cleveland game in that time slot? It's pretty disappointing for Aussie fans, I would have thought.
Well, I don't know. Look, I'll get my hotline onto the commission and put in a complaint for you. But,
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, we haven't been treated to a cracker to get up at that time of the morning for, have we?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. But anyway, we move on. We've got the Dallas Cowboys travel to New England Patriots. This is an interesting contest. We've got the Dallas Cowboys favourites away here, -3.5 and a high to mid-range total here of 52 flat. This game will be shown live on ESPN. Toprope, interesting clash this. Dallas have won their last 4, could conceivably be 5-0. They lost a close one first up. They've got the number 1 ranked offense in the NFL, and they come up against the Pats, who have the 5th best defense. The totals early move for the over here. How do you see this game?
I like the Pats in this one. The Pats have covered 10 of the last 12 as a home underdog. They're an excellent 42-19 against the spread as a dog. Belichick, the coach, over that whole period. He's particularly good against non-divisional teams. Plus 22.5% ROI. Cover at 71% when that team didn't make the playoffs the year prior, which the Cowboys did not. Dallas have covered 1 of their last 5 as a road favourite. 3 of their last 11 are scoring 30+. I think there's a bit of value at New England this week.
Dallas travel to New England to take on the Patriots this week. Corey, what are your thoughts here? Give me some Patriots love, please.
No, I won't, because I'll be going for Paige Cardona's Cowboys. They're starting to get a little bit hype. They've got the balanced offense with Dak Prescott, and the way those boys are running the rock right up the middle. They rushed for more than 200 yards in the last 2 weeks. So, but it's games like this, the Dallas Cowboys have got some close friends that follow the Cowboys, and you, Paige, because this is your team as well.
Thank you, Corey.
And look, I think it's games like this in the past that the Cowboys tend to drop. So I think it's a little bit of a danger game, this one, for the Dallas Cowboys. But if they're going to go places this year, these are the games that they need to go into New England and get a result. I still think that they'll get the right result, and the Cowboys 23-20 for mine.
We move on to our Sunday night game, which will be our late Monday game here at 11:20. We've got Seattle v Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh are strong favourites at the moment. Both teams struggling on 2 wins and 3 losses. Pittsburgh favourites -4.5. A very low total again of 42 flat. This will be shown live on ESPN. Top rope. Seattle lose their quarterback here, Wilson. Have they got the backup available to go into Pittsburgh and get the W?
Yeah, not a huge Geno Smith fan here. Really hard game to grasp. So I couldn't be having Pittsburgh laying the points here. They've failed to cover their last 6 as a favourite, covered just 2 of the last 7 at home. Seattle have covered 10-13 as a road dog, 12-17 as a dog overall, but look, Russell Wilson's usually been there for that. Lean towards the plus here, but the best bet in this one is the under. Pretty strong angles, the under both sides here. Under 36-14 when Pittsburgh play a losing team. Under is 8-2 when Seattle play a losing team. They've gone under in 7 straight off a loss. So, leading the under even on the low total at 42.5.
Paige, we've got Seattle at Pittsburgh this week. Backup quarterback for Seattle, Big Ben for Pittsburgh. How do you see this one?
Oof, Sunday night football. Love it. It's a good time for us here in Melbourne, 11:20 a.m. start. Yep, as you said, Geno Smith, he's going to take over the starting role for the Seahawks. I just think this is a really tough assignment first up for Smith and the Seahawks. Pittsburgh defense really turned up with the pass rush the last 2 weeks, and with the return of TJ Watt, I think they've just been really impressive. The Steelers, I think, are just getting back to a more efficient way of their man coverage and their rushing. And certainly I think this is a game where we're going to see that the Pittsburgh defense, really roll out the Blitzburgh kind of stuff on Geno Smith. This is the game where we're just going to see blitz after blitz. For me, I think this is going to be a pretty rude awakening for the Seahawks and what life after Russell Wilson may look like. So I'm taking the Steelers here.
Okay. Very strong there from Paige. I like it. Okay, we move on to our Monday Night Football, which will be shown here Tuesday morning at 11:15 on ESPN. I like this game. My Buffalo Bills, will call them Top Rope, have jumped fully on board here after tipping them early in this season. They travel to Tennessee. Early money for Buffalo. They opened 5.5, gone to 6 flat now. Good size total at 54 flat. Buffalo have won 4 straight. We'll be riding high off, as we said earlier, the mauling in KC. They got that out of the way. Tennessee regrouped, beat a weakened Jacksonville. Good stat here that I'm sure you'll be impressed with is the Bills have had 4 straight games of 35-plus points. Can that continue against Tennessee's 24th ranked defense?
Yeah, look, I love the over in this one and really like the Bills here. Bills 10-1 against the number off scoring 30-plus. 8-2 against them as a favourite, covered at 13-16 overall. Not sure the market's really caught up to how good they are yet. But the best bet in this one is the over. Look, Ryan Tannehill at the Titans, the over is 26 in their last 35. It's an obscene number. 7-1, the over when they've been a dog, Tennessee. The over is 15-5 when Buffalo off a win, 5-2 when they're on the road. I can see plenty of points in this one. So I think Buffalo keep rolling. I think Tennessee have enough points in them there. So I think the over here is absolutely a very good bet.
Okay, Corey, our last game of the week sees the mighty Buffalo Bills travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans. How do you see Buffalo backing up the mauling of KC last week?
Love it. A Monday Night Football gift. We've got 2 cracking teams. Let's see with Josh Allen and how they can back up, and what they're doing against the might of Derrick Henry. This is the game last year, for those that remember. That was that legendary stiff arm, and that was a 42-16 victory against Buffalo. Going to be a very tight game. I wouldn't want to bet against Josh Allen and what they're doing at the moment, not only on offense, and we're pumping him up, but it's more importantly what they're doing on defense. And I reckon they will just win this in a close one, 35-31.
Okay. First ranked defense, they're doing it on the back of the defense here, Corey, aren't they? You know, Buffalo. It's not the offense is getting all the kudos, but first ranked defense, Buffalo, is where it's getting done at the moment, and it showed last week with the KC mauling. He's a good judge. That's why I follow in Top Rope. If you like what you're hearing this week on the televised games that we've talked about, please head to littlebirdie.pod.com. Go to the house part. The subscriptions are $22 a week. You can get the season pass for $264. If you're serious about your NFL punting, please get ahead and get the To The House information from Top Rope. Okay, we're going to move on now to the Super Bowl odds. We're going to put them up on the screen for the viewers and get Top Rope's updated thoughts as we do every week. Top Rope, there's been a little bit of movement here and there. Obviously, as teams win and lose as they go through. Some injuries, obviously, to Seattle this week probably puts them on ice. We've got equal favourites at the moment at the top. Buffalo Bills at $6. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are $6. Bit of a gap now to KC, under a bit of pressure. They were the early favourites this year at $8.25. The Rams have been a good size mover into $9. Baltimore Ravens at $12 are joined by the Green Bay Packers. Next we have $13 both the Cardinals and Dallas, who have both got off to flyers. Top Rope, anything there on the board that you like, or what about the value page from $15 onward with the Browns or your team Chargers, who I think you tipped up last week?
Yeah, no, I've been on the Chargers all year. They're probably getting into their right price. I think the value this week probably Kansas City at $8.25. Probably, if they start getting on a roll, they're going to shorten dramatically. So if you're going to back the Chiefs and you want to be on them, now's probably the time. They're not playing great football, but considering this is the longest price they've been in the market this season, so I reckon the Chiefs are probably the value there.
Okay, beautiful. I like your thinking there, Top Rope. So if you haven't invested on the Chiefs early, Top Rope suggesting maybe the $8.25 is a good time to bet with them looking for an important win this week.
Each week, our panel of four will be granted $100 to invest, sponsored by topsport.com.au. TopSport is Australia's biggest betting bookie, where the pros get set. All profits are donated to my platform called Walk With Me Online, which we are doing great work in the mental health space. Now, you guys, how about pulling your fingers out, please?
Hey, I think I did okay.
Yeah,
Paige
got one on the board.
I got one on the board. Yeah. What's your problem?
I don't know.
Is this what happens when you've got winner's ego? Is it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you're 5-zip, you can take these sort of liberties.
Yeah. Well, up yours. I still got to win this week. All right. Okay.
All right, in your own time, you two. All right, let's quickly check last week's results. We already know that now Corey is 5-0, so we won't pump him up too much. But just quickly, last week, Corey went to 5-0, tipping Tampa correctly. I had a push with Green Bay, tough kicking, landed on 3. Paige finally got a victory with her second team, Dallas, and unfortunately Top Rope missed. That puts him at 3-2. Okay, it's time now for our week 6 predictions, and we're going to lead off with Top Rope. Top Rope for Corey's Walk With Me Online. What is your best for week 6?
The LA Chargers +3 against the Baltimore Ravens.
5-0 leader. Can you become 6-0?
It will become 6-0 because I think the Colts will have a point to prove, and that's why I'm going -10. I think the Colts will do an absolute number this week.
This is it, the downfall of the great man. He's tipped into his own team, Paige. Surely not.
Sucked in.
Hey, at least I know who my team is.
You think the Colts are going to win this week, do you?
Yes.
All right.
By more than 10 as well. That's interesting.
This is winner's ego. He's going all out now.
He's up and about, isn't he? He's
walking
around like he's 6'8", not 6'6". Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Paige, what do you got for us? You're shooting for 2 in a row. So what have you got? Not Dallas again this week, surely.
You know what? I am going Dallas again. I just love the way they're playing. I can't help it. Their offense is fantastic to watch. Their defense has it all together, and their special teams knows what they're doing as well. I just love them. I think they're fantastic. I think they're playing a brilliant brand of football. I'm all over them this week, and I will take them at New England.
Right.
At the -3.5. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Thanks for coming.
All right, very confident there, Paige. Myself, for those who are following, I need to get one on the board here, guys. So I am going to look to the Chiefs, Washington over 55.5. Both defenses are dismal at 29 and 32nd ranked. So plenty of points in this game. So hopefully we can get the 56 required there.
Boys, we have got some Super Bowl party tickets to give away. Firstly, I'm going to actually announce who won a couple of weeks ago, and that was Kamar Thiever, who tipped the game between the Bengals and the Jags. So well done, mate. We'll be in contact with you. But I was on the Little Birdie Brews this week and forgot to send out the tweet on Thursday night asking who would win out of the Rams at Seattle. My apologies, but there will be a tweet going out tonight asking you who will win in tomorrow's matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Philadelphia. Now, all you've got to do is reply to the tweet, tell us the margin, so tell us who's going to win, what the margin's going to be, and the person with the closest to the marker is going to win a ticket for them and a mate to come and party with us on Super Bowl day at our exclusive party hosted by Little Birdie TV, and thanks to topsport.com.au.
Thanks, Paige, a big Dallas Cowboys fan. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks to the Third and Long crew. You can follow us on YouTube, find us in the Apple Store, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us at Little Birdie TV, Third and Long TV on Twitter and Instagram. And remember, for all your NFL action can be found at topsport.com.au, and invest wisely, punters. Enjoy your week 6.